現都冇得發。
Press, condemning the recent attacks by protesters on the Hong Kong police and explaining her recent statement that it's not feasible at the moment for Hong Kong to have a public debate on universal suffrage. She thinks this would send the wrong message. Take a listen.
I have said on many occasions that violence will not give us the solution. Violence will only breed more violence. So for concessions to be made simply because of escalating violence will only make the situation worse. On the other hand, we should consider every means to end the violence.
Now, although according to Lam, the issue of universal suffrage is not on the table at the moment, she did, however, address the issue of housing and land supply, which she calls the single most important issue that a chief executive should be addressing. She says that in her 2019 policy address, housing is going to come under a new spotlight. Now, I spoke with the president of the largest labor organization here in Hong Kong, the Hong Kong Federation of Trade Unions, which significantly is against the current anti-government protest movement, but does, however, see housing as one of the most critical issues facing the average Hong Konger right now. Take a listen.
Housing in Hong Kong is a big problem. There isn't enough land, and there are more than 10,000 people who are qualified, yet still waiting for public housing. The waiting period is very long, especially for young people.
Now, housing is where Hong Kong's inequality becomes most apparent. Nearly 45% of residents live in either public housing or subsidized housing, and over 200,000 Hong Kong residents live in what the Society for Community Organization here in Hong Kong calls inadequate housing, like the video you're looking at right now. I spoke with a former high-ranking government official who says that the Hong Kong government is not doing enough to address the widening wealth gap, and that to a vast majority of Hong Kongers, it's housing and other social inequities that are of critical importance. Take a listen.
Many protesters are the young people. They are angry about the society. The rich people can get more, and the young people can get nothing. And the price of housing going up very fast. That means the rich people get more and more. The distribution of resources is unfair. So the young people angry about this. This is the fundamental problem. This is the root problem. So at this moment, we have the issue about the bills, and then all the young people, they're angry, their anxiety, their pressure.
Now, because of Hong Kong's special autonomous status, which was guaranteed by the handover terms when Britain returned Hong Kong back to China in the 90s, Hong Kong is very market-driven. And a vast majority of the low-wage workers here are not seeing the fruits of Hong Kong's economic growth. In fact, the wealth of just 21 tycoons is equivalent to the total available fiscal reserves of the entire Hong Kong government. Now, the minimum wage has not kept up with increases in inflation. In fact, the current minimum wage is equivalent to about $5 here in Hong Kong, and privatization often runs unchecked. 1 in 5 people live in poverty here in Hong Kong, and Hong Kong is the most expensive place to live, which also means that it's the least affordable. And the people on the streets today during this anti-government movement are not immune to these underlying conditions for social unrest. For News Views Hughes in Hong Kong, Michelle Greenstein, RT.
喺中環，我哋都要發聲。
點解要用自己時間嚟去集會？呢個係我自己嘅權利嚟㗎嘛，集會係香港人嘅權利嚟㗎嘛，我有我嘅自由去做任何嘢㗎，點解要企出嚟？呢個係為公義，而係亦都係為香港人嘅自由嚟發聲咯。
Stopping Hong Kong from operating, I just simply don't agree with this method.